Long before kingdoms and cities rose from the desert, long before maps existed, the Arabian sands carried a tragic birth. A child was born into the mighty tribe of Idi, but born alone. His mother breathed only long enough to see him. Seconds later, she was gone. His father had vanished months earlier on a desert journey, never to return. Some said he was swallowed by a storm. Some said he was taken by disease. Others whispered darker fates. But one thing was certain. The child had entered the world with no parents, no protection, no love. His name was Shaddad, and the emptiness in his childhood would shape the darkness of his adulthood. Shaddad grew up in the palace of the tribe of Idi. He had food, he had servants, he had luxury, but he never had a warm hand on his head. No one to tell him right from wrong. No one to hold him when he cried. His lullabies were the echoes of empty hallways. His toys were weapons. His lessons were about strength, domination, and power. Weakness had no place in his world. Compassion was considered foolish, and love didn't exist in his vocabulary. Every year, the boy grew taller, stronger, harder. He once said to a caretaker, "If no one belongs to me, one day the whole world will." And that was the beginning of his downfall. The people of AD were not ordinary humans. They were giants, tall, powerful, able to pull trees out of the ground with bare hands. They built massive cities, monuments that touched the clouds, and palaces carved into mountains. And among them stood Shaddad, different even for their standards. His strength was unmatched. His ambition was limitless. His confidence, unbreakable. People whispered, "This orphan will rule us one day." They were right, but they didn't know what kind of king he would become. Years rolled on. Tribe leaders died. Rivals fell. Shaddad's intelligence and raw power pushed him to the top. He became king of the tribe of Idi. But the emptiness he carried from childhood still lived inside him. Rather than filling it with kindness, he filled it with pride. Rather than seeking love, he sought control. Rather than healing, he conquered. He said to his advisors, "In this world, either you bow or you make others bow." He chose the second. When a nation rises in arrogance, God sends a messenger to bring it back. For the people of AD, that messenger was Prophet Hud. Yes, he said, "Shaddad, O people of AD, your strength is a gift, not a crown. Be humble, be grateful. Return to your creator." But Shaddad laughed in his face. "Hud, I am a king with no equal. No power can break me. No force can defeat me. I write my own destiny." Hud, yes, warned. God writes all destinies. Yours will not end the way you think. But kings intoxicated by power cannot hear truth. One night, Shaddad stood alone under the sky. A traveler told him, "Paradise has palaces of pearls, gardens of eternal green, rivers of milk and honey, gates of gems and light." And something dark awakened in Shaddad. A whisper inside him said, "Why should heaven have what you do not? Build your own paradise on earth." Shaddad smiled, a dangerous, wicked smile. "That is what I will do. My paradise will be greater than the one above." This was the greatest sin of his life, the sin of challenging God. "Gather all architects, bring all gold, bring all jewels. I shall create Iram, the paradise of earth." For years and years, thousands of builders worked. Mountains were broken, rivers were redirected, treasures were melted, slaves collapsed and died from exhaustion. Yet the work continued, until finally, a city rose from the desert, a city the world had never seen. Iram, the city of pillars, walls of pure gold, trees with emerald leaves, rivers of milk and honey, gates carved from rubies, streets paved with gemstones. Even the moonlight reflected off its walls like fire. Shaddad proclaimed, "This is my paradise. No heaven can match it." His arrogance had reached its peak. Prophet Hud, yes, came one last time. "O Shaddad," he said, "why do you fight the one who created you? Why do you challenge the heavens? Do you think walls of gold can protect you from God?" Shaddad responded, "I fear no God. I fear no destiny. I fear nothing." Hud, yes, replied softly, "Then nothing will be left of you." And he left Shaddad to his fate. Shaddad declared, "Tomorrow I will enter my paradise." The next day, crowds gathered, drums echoed, horses marched, banners waved. The palace gates shone like suns. Shaddad walked proudly toward Iram's entrance. One step, two steps, three. But destiny stepped first. The sky darkened. The wind stopped. A silence heavier than mountains fell. Then, a roar like the tearing of the universe erupted. A storm descended with violent fury. Crossmark winds that ripped flesh. Crossmark sand that cut like knives. Crossmark thunder that shook the ground. Crossmark lightning that swallowed armies. The people of Idi were lifted like dry leaves. Thrown, shattered, destroyed. Shaddad fell to his knees. His crown rolled away in the sand. He stretched his hand toward the gate of Iram, just one step away. But God said, "Paradise is not for the arrogant. Shaddad died outside the gate of the paradise he built, never entering it. The storm buried Iram beneath mountains of sand, its towers, its gardens, its rivers, all swallowed by the desert. No one has ever found the city again. It remains hidden, a warning, a grave of arrogance. Shaddad's life teaches only one truth. The greatest enemy of a human is his own arrogance. God can forgive mistakes, but he does not forgive pride that challenges him. Strength does not make a king. Humility does. Shaddad had everything, except humility, and so he lost everything, even the paradise he built with his own hands.